Look, we all thought her actions lacked class. People will jeer at you. I have never witnessed someone quit a team in such a pitiful manner as DeWanna Bonner. She failed to inform her teammates. You see, I'm not feeling very well about this section. Sophie, I want everyone to be happy. This is still a business, and I get that. Like Casper, the amiable ghost, she completely abandoned the Indiana Fever. Man, you could have simply stitched it out for us here while we held your water. We all thought her actions lacked class. DeWanna Bonner, you will be jeered. I've never witnessed someone abandon a team in such a pitiful manner as this. DeWanna Bonner, you're going to get jeered. I have never witnessed anyone abandon a team in such a pitiful manner. Look, we all thought her actions lacked class. She failed to inform her teammates. She simply wasn't content in Indiana. Like Casper the amiable ghost, she completely abandoned the Indiana Fever. She failed to inform her teammates. Like Casper the amiable ghost out here, she completely abandoned the Indiana Fever. Man, when we held your drink, you might have simply pieced out to us. As we held your water, you could have simply pieced it out for us. I do believe she acted in a classless manner. I believe that you don't abandon your team without wishing them well, saying something, or posting anything. I don't blame her for going. She had no desire to be present. It's okay. Look, we all thought her actions lacked class. However, this sort of validates it, in my opinion. When you simply decide you're not going to, you disregard your teammates' talk to them about your departure, but don't tell anyone you know farewell. However, her method was unacceptable. You don't quit a squad you fought with like that. You don't leave players who helped you like that. We all wondered why she simply disappeared. That, in my opinion, demonstrates a serious lack of character. And Sophie Cunningham is correct when she says that this is what happened. Okay, this is crazy. These were the players that DeWanna Bonner played with. We now recall that I called DeWanna Bonner out because she simply left Indiana despite her desire to stay. Not a word, no discussion, nothing. And there was quiet when we attempted to contact them. Not only is that unprofessional, but it's also personal. She damaged relationships with those who actually had faith in her. She behaved like a 6-year-old. Literally. DeWanna Bonner is a legend, according to everyone. This is the most pitiful thing I've ever seen her do. I have never witnessed somebody abandon a team in such a pitiful manner. Additionally, you are free to say anything you wish. Oh, what a legend DB is. She is deserving of respect. Indeed, I will respect DeWanna Bonner. Whatever her motivations were, I don't care. You wouldn't treat your teammates that way. Sophie Cunningham claimed that she lied, based on what I've heard. She resigned. She will be jeered. She's not incorrect, to be honest. Regarding DeWanna Bonner's career, I will undoubtedly appreciate her. This is the worst way a player has ever left a team, DeWanna Bonner. I also support the Miami Heat. Last year, we had to cope with Jimmy Butler. This is worse than that. She simply wasn't content in Indiana, and I believe her attitude reflected that. However, the way she left was what truly irritated everybody. Caitlin Clark thought Bonner was a leader and a pro, but then she abruptly stopped communicating with the squad. Sophie said it best when she commented that it was classless. No leadership, no support, no farewell, just gone. You see, I'm not feeling very well about this section. Sophie, I want everyone to be happy. This is still a business, and I get that. Many members of the team are dissatisfied. Many people will not attend the playoffs at all. Sophie Cunningham starts off by describing her connection with DeWanna Bonner in her own words. Her disappointment is heightened by the fact that she claims Bonner was one of her vets in Phoenix. Sophie points out that Bonner was unexpectedly signed to Indiana, but she didn't appear content there right away. Let me explain the situation to you. Yes. Additionally, I appreciate DB because he was one of my veterinarians in Phoenix, and it's crucial to mention earlier encounters with Sophie Cunningham and DeWanna Bonner. So, compared to meeting someone for the first time, there were already existing relationships going into this season that might have been more legitimate. How she got to know most of the crew. Despite being a great and a Hall of Famer, Sophie acknowledges that Bonner's demeanor in Indiana wasn't what the team had anticipated. Sophie then clarifies that being dissatisfied does not justify acting in an unethical manner. She suggests that Bonner's activities were disruptive and self-serving without specifically mentioning so. It was rather unexpected that she was signed to Indiana in the first place when we all convened here in Indiana. Why should it come as a surprise? We will definitely take her, as though she were a Hall of Famer. She is an incredible basketball player. She is capable of scoring from any spot on the court, but she only got to Indiana in the corners. We'll continue, but she's kind of shooting off the backboard now. DeWanna Bonner completely abandoned the Indiana Fever like Casper the Friendly Ghost, according to another response. This was total desertion, not just silence. Sophie and others anticipated a conversation that was at least sophisticated, a token of respect, family. DeWanna Bonner didn't even share her innermost thoughts with the crew. Oh my God, didn't even share her feelings or emotions with her teammates. Hurry up, DB. She completely abandoned the Indiana Fever guy, like Casper the amiable ghost out here. Oh my God. After DeWanna Bonner left the on a first date, Indiana Fever hit the woman with the phrase, "I left my wallet at home." My goodness. However, Bonner disappeared silently, disregarding her teammates. This abrupt and aloof departure is being criticized for being unusual for a veteran in terms of work behavior. In keeping with the core idea of your video title, the tone here conveys how fans and insiders viewed Bonner's conduct as self-centered and immoral. Like the figure Ghost Rider from Marvel, DeWanna Bonner ended up abandoning the Indiana Fever in order to go and blow up someone else's organization. I'm feeling this way because you couldn't even have a mature, sincere conversation with someone and tell them so. Oh my God, what are you doing out here, DBH? Caitlin Clark felt devastated. There is no other term for it. It was visible in her countenance. She genuinely believed that Dana would be a confidant and mentor to her. Bonner, however, merely dipped. To make matters worse, Sophie Cunningham was penalized once again for her remarks regarding the referees following the first show. This podcast is going to make Sophie Cunningham pay a lot of fines. Let's dive straight in, shall we? Sophie Cunningham discussing DeWanna Bonner's treatment of the squad when she was leaving. She didn't speak to Caitlin at all. Not once. No calls, no texts. Simply vanished. And Caitlin seems to have been broken by that. Sophie's words were spoken aloud. She was stabbed in the back by you. She is speaking with her partner behind the scenes. Hey, are you going to tell them that you don't? Hey, will you let your teammates know what's going on? No, forget about it. They're not worthy. My time is not worth them. My energy isn't worth it for them. These are people I don't even know. I hardly made it. I never developed a relationship with them. I mean, I knew Sophie back when she was here, dude. And yet, fuck it. We're discussing more than just losing a player. We are discussing the loss of trust. Caitlin had confidence in DeWanna Bonner. She believed she was receiving mentoring. Then one morning, she's gone, like a poof. That is humiliating in addition to being painful. Someone once remarked that Caitlin appeared to be fighting back tears. According to Sophie Cunningham, Bonner didn't simply walk away. A newbie who needed her was betrayed by her. No justification for her comrades, to her teammates. She didn't even want to tell them what had happened. What happened was wrong. Not a single explanation. She simply doesn't want to explain anything to anyone. Get rid of it. It was audible in Caitlin's voice. She was in pain, yet she maintained her composure. After all, she didn't even mention Bonner's name. Just stay away from it entirely. That tells you everything. Dana seems to have torn away something intimate. Many people are shocked to learn that she is nearing the end of her career. Thus, it seems like she deserves her flower. She is deserving of happiness. However, I also believe that you will have to anticipate receiving food if you are going to leave. For example, was there a reason? When did it occur? Not even in private, please. Yes. Well, that's difficult. Indeed. All right. I did say what I meant to say, and that is, unless you leave Pai Chu on it. So yes. And I suppose it's family. I believe Caitlin was taught a harsh lesson though, really. This league's members are not all who they seem to be. Sophie got to her feet and spoke what Clark was unable to. That this betrayed them. It's simple, that's crazy. She didn't even explain her departure to them. She simply wouldn't go back. What a cowardly thing to do. She was aware that she was acting irrationally. One of the harshest responses was when Sophie's colleague or pundit stated the line struck a chord and perfectly captured the sentiments of many Indiana Fever fans. In addition to being viewed as unprofessional, Bonner's abrupt and unexplained departure was considered disrespectful. That is lame, to use a polite expression. After that, you post on Instagram as though she was discussing disrespect. First, you disrespected Hawk. What do you think when you treat someone disrespectfully? You would think that if you treat the entire fan base disrespectfully, they would say, "Oh, we love you so much. We can't wait till you come home." But they won't. Is that you? For example, why? This stoked animosity and a strong sense of betrayal. Fan excitement exploded as she returned to Indiana. Even while Sophie remained composed, the throng spoke loudly. Every time you touch the ball, you will hear their message. You mistreated us first. You must be thinking, there must be something wrong with you. For example, you essentially said I to the whole fandom. What do you think they will do? Tell Dana it's all right. Do not be concerned. You're a legend when you return. We'll be there to support you. They will also say bye to you. They will boo your ass, of course. This betrayal felt even more significant after listening to Sophie's program. But Bonner didn't even do that, she says. Sophie's revelation was more than just a locker room problem. It was a public scandal that left fans feeling duped and caught the Fever organization off guard. Love you guys, or love you guys, is not even necessary. Similar to, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Do you understand? I believe there is a way to deal with that. Bonner's silence, now that everything is out, appears to be a premeditated act of disrespect. It was more than just a poor exit. As Sophie suggests, it lacked class. Fans quickly rallied around Sophie's version of the story, even if it was something we were discussing and kind of laughing about. I struck her, of course, and this kind of honesty from a current player hit hard. Everyone is saying on the internet that Paige isn't playing with Sophie because she dislikes her. We were actually laughing and chatting when I thought, dude, I'm just wondering what's going on. I thought, people just want us to hate each other so bad like everyone else. It's not like that, I say. There was disbelief in the locker room. People were at a loss for words. There was quiet, no explanation, no message, and that type of exit wrecks trust in a professional locker room. Everyone was ghosted by DeWanna Bonner. You don't simply give up and disappear. For those who are still working hard, Sophie Cunningham described it as a slap in the face. Overnight, she claimed, the atmosphere shifted, and not in a positive way. That, in my view, demonstrates a serious lack of character. Additionally, this is precisely what Sophie Cunningham claims occurred. Okay, this is amazing. These were the players that DeWanna Bonner played with. We now recall that I called DeWanna Bonner out because it was more than just basketball, despite her reluctance to be in Indiana. It was sentimental. Players felt upset, perplexed, and even irate. They were left in the dark, even though several had been near Bonner. One participant remarked, "I thought she was my friend." You don't get over that quickly. Sophie Cunningham compared it like being caught off guard during a conflict. After the team simply felt broken as people lost faith in one another. When I was in Phoenix, DB was one of my veterans. When we got together here in Indiana, it was rather unexpected that she had been signed in any case. Therefore, we will definitely take her. As though she were a Hall of Famer, she plays basketball really well, able to score from any position on the court. However, when she arrived in Indiana, she was genuinely unhappy. And as if I want everyone to be content. I'm kind of neutral on this one because of this, which surprises a lot of people. One coach once told me, "You don't construct civilization in this manner." They were correct. A mental spiral resulted upon Bonner's departure. The EI practice was tense. For days, some players remained silent. Caitlin Clark didn't say much. Sophie Cunningham's displeasure was evident as well. She lost faith in the cohesiveness of the locker room in addition to losing a teammate. And from that point forward, as though something were broken inside, the Fever began to play. This is the worst way a player has ever left a team, DeWanna Bonner. I also support the Miami Heat. Last year, we had to cope with Jimmy Butler. This is worse than that. It's worse than this. Similar to how Indy made things better with DB unintentionally saved the front office. Yes. Additionally, Stephanie White was acting as a stand-in for her, knowing that she no longer wanted to be there. It wasn't Caitlin Clark's conduct that caused further uproar, but rather the fact that her name was brought up. The media's and fans' response was what intensified. People started to wonder if Caitlin's treatment was motivated by envy, as she was subjected to disrespectful games and frequent harsh fouls. The treatment of Caitlin Clark throughout the WNBA is another old topic that has surfaced. Additionally, if it rises to I would have disregarded a Wall Street Journal article about the necessity for the government to handle this issue. But I received some correspondence and specifically this comment. This incident confirmed Sophie Cunningham's earlier claim that the league wasn't shielding its star. What began as Bonner's treachery evolved into a more significant problem. How some WNBA players and supporters react to Caitlin and other rising stars. Sophie's position made it apparent that silence is no longer tolerated. A fan comments, "I'd love to hear your thoughts on an upcoming video on the video that Stephen A. Smith released today on the entire Wall Street Journal article," referring to Savage Coffee and Tea Company. Furthermore, Bonner's silence is made worse by the fact that many WNBA players share locker rooms and careers over time, CC Sophie noted. However, the circumstances with Clark demonstrates how these betrayals damage league culture in addition to harming teammates. What's happening with DeWanna Bonner? We seem to have a definitive answer in Indiana. We're left wondering, hey, is this the same thing that was happening here where she's just like this locker room problem late in her career? In Phoenix. Unable to accept her current position as a player at this point in her career and the fact that things must get redirected. I have no idea what it is. When Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, it revealed interpersonal flaws, partiality, and locker room politics. Sophie's words weren't limited to Bonner. He sparked a more in-depth discussion, and Clark's predicament served as an illustration of how some veterans can find it difficult to adjust and pay attention. Fans were also betrayed, in addition to teammates. Keep it a buck, please. There are a number of player transactions in the WNBA. Since you may have played with someone earlier in your career, these players are rather familiar with one another. You two have reconciled. You have no idea which player will wind up on which squad or in what circumstance. It appears that she was requesting some fairly standard civility. I've never seen Caitlin so happy. Clark after Bonner was struck. She didn't say anything. No respect, no farewell. Like ghosts, she abandoned her teammates. Although Caitlin Clark believed she had a mentor, she disappeared. And Caitlin Clark is happier than I've ever seen her. When Natasha Howard slapped Caitlin Clark, she sprung up in the happiest way I've ever seen. Determined that you will not speak to them regarding your departure. I'm not going to tell anyone about it. Farewell. She failed to inform her teammates. Like us, she left her teammates wondering what the devil was going on. And some light is being shed by Sophie Cunningham. Man, she completely abandoned the Indiana Fever like Casper the Friendly Ghost. She simply abandoned the Indiana Casper. The friendly ghost is like Fever. I'm going to go do what I want. After this, if you're still standing with Caitlin Clark treachery, hit that like button, subscribe, and spread to maintain the truth.